Hi guys. Okay. What's up? All right, so let's do part 2. I guess I'm just gonna do all my art supplies. I don't know until I run out of energy. I pulled out everything, so I might as well do it, right? Okay, so we're gonna do just regular watercolors. Well, this will include all of my like metallic and sparkly watercolors and that kind of stuff too. So let's start with just regular watercolors. And I mean, you know, things that don't have special... Oh, I forgot to show these to you guys when I did the Gansai paints. Let's see. Yeah, so addendum to the Gansai paints. I knew I was missing something. So these are the Kuretake graphite colors and the Boku Undu Japanesque colors. And one might think that they're the same, but they're not. They just have subtle differences in the color, and like the two grays are slightly different, the two greens are slightly different, the two reds definitely different. So anyway, so they're not really redundant is what I'm trying to say. And I love both of them. I used these on a coloring page last month, and I just love the way it came out. I used some metallic watercolor on top of it, and it was really super pretty. So anyway, so I have those too. Okay, so let's start with drawers. So I have watercolors in a couple of drawers. So first one, this is the Mei Liang, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, set of 48. And they actually sent these to me, back like in December. And I was supposed to do a video, and post it. I was supposed to be like for my other channel, but I never got around to doing it, and I do still feel guilty about it because they sent me like a calendar and stuff. But anyway, I'm really sorry, Paul Rubens, that I didn't ever do that. I'm sure they probably didn't even notice. But anyway, so this is the 48 color set. It does have 12 metallic colors also, which, I mean, I swatched them out, and they're not terrible. Like, I would say, scale of 1 to 10 with all of the, different, properties of watercolor, etc. I would give them about a 5, 6. I don't think there's anything wrong with them necessarily. I think the colors are vibrant, but anyway, I don't want to go into like a deep dive review of the set. I don't know why, but it just seems like a lot of these kind of Eastern manufactured watercolor sets are really lacking in the greens. I don't know why. It's just weird. Like, there's only like 6 greens. This one, and then these, well, yeah, 6. So, I don't know. I mean, I know I can mix all kinds of greens, but I don't know. That's just something that I noticed lately. But, yeah, so I have those, and, do I use them? Not really, but I keep them because they were a present, and so I keep them. Anyway, and then I have this Cotman set that is always so hard to open. I don't know what the trick is to opening this, but again, this is a student grade watercolor set, and I keep it because I bought it, and I do like them. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I have a smaller one too that I've actually taken all the pans out of, but I like the palette. I think the palette is really cool, and I like that this will lift off. I think that's great, because in most of my, so like you'll notice, like in this palette, I've taken off the part that normally flips down here, just because it annoys me. Like, I don't know, like it just takes up too much space. So I always take those off. But I like that this palette, this part of it, it comes off easily. So you can like set it wherever you want or whatever. Anyway, so I don't remember how many colors in here. I think this is also 48. But yeah, and there's some doubles in here. Like, I know there's 2 ultramarine blues, and you know, there's a couple of duplicate colors. So anyway, but so that's the Cotman, Winsor Newton Cotman, 48 colors. And then let's see. So I have this Etcher set. I think this is 24 colors. This one I left the little fold down palette on. And I actually really like these. I like this set. I like these colors. I like to use them in coloring books. I think it's a nice variety. For a 24 set, I think they were able to squeeze in like pretty much all the right colors. Except there really isn't a, I don't know, like there's a magenta color, and then it goes right into this purpley violet color. So I like more of a reddish violet, but I don't know. What's the difference between purple and violet? I don't really know. Potato, I don't know. Anyway, I think a lot of sets will call violet magenta, and then purple is purple, or is purple magenta? I don't know. I have to look that up. Anyway, I think that's purple. Okay, like that's what I think of as purple. Okay, if I say like purple's my favorite color, purple, that's purple. Purple's not my favorite color, but I'm just saying. Yeah, so anyway, and for a while, I kind of thought that this set was like more dye-based, but I have since learned that it's not. It is, and it's because I don't have the packaging that came with this set anymore, and so, and when I got it, like I wasn't paying any attention to pigments and stuff, so, but I have seen other people reviewing this set, and they have pointed out the pigment names and stuff, so I know that it is not dye based, and I was, you know, happy to know that. And then speaking of dye based, I've got these little Viviva color sheets, and these are just really cute little sets. This is the metallic set. And so these are just nice if you want something portable. You can stick them in a notebook or whatever. Kind of similar to the, what do they call them? The, what are those watercolors called? You guys know what I'm talking about. Peerless watercolors, right? It's kind of the same thing. So anyway, this is not related to this. These are all the metallics though. So there's ruby red, pink pearl, fire, lava, jade, emerald, and they're really beautiful. Aurora, sapphire, two silvers, and 2 gold. And then they give you these little mixing areas. so you can, you know, kind of play around with them. So anyway, I like them. I think they're really fun. I think they're a little pricey maybe for what they are, but you know, anyway, so then at Spokane Art Supply, where art supply store here where I live, in town where I live, they carry the Viviva, a lot of their products. And so one day I was in there just getting some other stuff, and they had these on the counter. So, whoops, must have put that away, kind of damp. Anyway, so I picked up these two sets, and again, I just really like them. And I know that these most likely are dye-based watercolors. I don't think that they're made with the finest pigments on the planet. So this one, I don't know, this is my swatch card for one of them. I can't remember, I don't know which one it was, but these are two different sets. Yeah. Okay, so this, I don't know, you guys. Anyway, this swatch sheet goes with this set. And then you saw the other one. This one must go with that set. Anyway, so it's just a nice little variety of color in these little cork palettes. And I think that they're environmentally friendly, and they're just really cute. I think that Viviva is a really, it's a neat brand. Like, it's a neat product. And I'm glad that I have these. I don't use them very often, but they're kind of fun to use in coloring books because the colors are so vivid and so bright, you know. And along the same line are these. There's so many of these on the market, and these fan palettes, where this one has 42 colors. This one is made by Marie's, but I do think that many of the brands of this type of set are all made by the same company. And Lindsay, Frugal Crafter, I'm just going to call her FG Lindsay. She's done a pretty in-depth review of these. I do not like that they keep popping out. I think I need to add some water. I think I need to give that a little spritz. See if I can get that to stay in there. Anyway, it's like a puzzle. This one I've completely lost. We'll see if that one can stick. But anyway, these again are pretty vivid, like as far as the color payoff, you know. Oh my god, this is such a disaster. And, you know, you can pay anywhere from $10 for these up to, I've seen different brands listed for $25, you know, $30 for these sets. So anyway, I think I got this at Blick during that, you know, a shopping trip. And I just thought it was a great little novelty. And it does come with a water brush, and there's a little sponge, so that's nice. Anyway, I'm going to set that somewhere to dry and see if I can get those to stick down. This isn't watercolors. So that's going over there. Okay, so that's this drawer. And then drawer number 2, I'm going to put this back in the thing. Okay, so I fell victim to the cuteness of these little sets on Amazon, and they were like 20% off or something. These are little palettes. They come with 6 colors. Excuse me. So these are the colors that were in it. Like this was the red set, reds and purples or something. So that's kind of how this one came, right? The brand is Mifune. So these were like $7.99 or something like that. And I just thought they were so cute, mostly because of the palette. Anyway, but I took out the pans that came in here and I just put some empty half pans in there because I want to use it for some other watercolors, you know. And I just took the colors and set them aside. They're extruded paint, so they come right out of the pans. And so for this one, these are the colors actually that were in those pans. And I just dropped them in this little container. And then these were some other empty pans that I had. So anyway, so I just have 2 of those, but I'm going to fill them up with some other watercolors. And then there was this set, and I love this little palette. The only thing I don't like is that the lid doesn't fold back. It's, you know, and it didn't come with paint in it. It was empty, which is fine because I probably would have just taken the paint out anyway. So I just put in some of my Magello Mission colors that I like. And I mean, it's not really even, I guess it's sort of like a primary set, but sorry, I have cat hair. My cat Grasshopper decided that he needed a ton of attention a few minutes ago, and so he was on my desk. Anyway, but I just added some cute colors that I really like into here, and I just think it's super cute. So I fell victim to the cuteness of those recently. Whoops, that goes over here. Well, I'll show this to you. So this is the Derwent metallic paint pan pocket set, and you know, it comes with the water brush. The water brush has been absorbed into my other water brush like drawer. Anyway, you know, these were just kind of disappointing, I have to say. Not the greatest, you know. I mean, I don't know. This green is really pretty. It's a really pretty green. The gold is okay. These 4 colors, I think, are great. But all the rest of them, you know, I don't know. I never use those. And then there's this little Wilmer set that I actually did a video on recently that I thought was super cute. And I guess that's why Amazon suggested this to me. But yeah, super cute. And yeah, adorable. If you're interested in seeing more in-depth commentary on this set, there's a video on my channel. Okay. And then this is the Paul Rubens. Oh, this is what happened to the rest of those Komarebi colors. I knew I was missing 5 from my last video. I showed this set of Gansai watercolors, and it was a set of 40, and I only had shown 35, and I couldn't remember what I did with the other 5, but here they are. They were neons. So that Gansai set is actually kind of cool because it's 40 colors. You get like 8 metallics, 5 neons, and 27 other colors. So I think it's a really good variety, actually. And it came in this little like palette like this, and I've actually cut off 1 row of these because I had this that had something else in it. Oh, some dessert spoons that I bought on Amazon. And I always save these because these are like great. This is a great little palette box. Anyway, but this pan that those watercolors came in fit perfectly in here if I cut off one row. So this is what I use for my Neocolor 2 shavings. When I sharpen them, I just, you know, sharpen them into a little cup, and then I pour it in there, and then I just drop some water on it, and that sticks it down in there. So anyway, so that's enough detail about that. But anyway, so this is the Paul Rubens neon set. These came in tubes, and I don't know what I did with the tubes. I have gone and scoured through my drawers trying to find the tubes, and I think I threw them away. I don't know what happened, but yeah, that Paul Rubens neon set is actually like not counting these, right? So it's just these. I think it's 18, 12, 15. Oh, and then I added a black and white in there for some reason. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 colors. Or maybe it came with those black and white. I don't remember. But anyway, so that's what those are. Oh, yeah. See, I have it written on there. And then this is the swatch. See, I usually keep that's those colors on black. There's some air in there inside. I laminate these usually. But yeah, they all show up pretty well on black, which is really cool. Anyway, so that goes there like that. Okay. And then this is the Calero. Are these Calero or Finetech? I think these are Finetech. These are the Finetech neons. And I don't know, they're a little underwhelming, to be honest. I think I did pick these up at Blick. Yeah, they're Finetech. I think I did pick these up in person at Blick. And yeah, that's all I can say. They're slightly underwhelming, especially for the price, because these were premium. Finetech has a couple of different lines. They have just their regular line, and then they have their premium line. And the premium line is about twice as expensive as their regular line. In case you've ever been looking at Finetech watercolors and wondered why some are so much more expensive, that's why. It's because, you know, the more expensive ones are the premium colors. So anyway, I mean, this set was probably $30-some, maybe more. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, so I do keep them in their little tin, just because I think it's really cute. I hardly ever use these, but I'll keep them because they weren't cheap. And then there's these. So this little guy, this was made by Art Advantage, or distributed by Art Advantage. Have no idea. Yeah, made in China though. And I bought this at Michael's years ago. And this was probably the very first watercolor set that I ever really bought. I mean, honestly, except for maybe watercolors I had when I was a little kid. But I bought these probably 15 years ago. And I don't know. I just love them. I haven't really used them much since, but you can see like I hit pan on a lot of them. But I used to just use them in like art journals and that kind of thing. And I liked them so much that I've seen, I think Lindsay actually showed these. A couple other people have shown these. It's kind of the same thing. Comes in a bigger set though. And these are made by Kohinoor. So this is a large set. I don't know what happened to that one. Maybe I stuck it somewhere else. Huh, what happened? Oh, there, it's in the center. See, it was in there, and now it's in there. Anyway, so this is like 48 colors, I think. And yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's 4 dozen colors. And they're all pretty decent. Like, you know, they're student grade, obviously. And I'm pretty sure they're also dye-based. I don't know. I could be wrong. But they're so cute. And it's such a nice little compact set, you know? Anyway, I just had to get them. They weren't like super cheap either. There's another brand, I can't remember the brand, that I believe is made in Australia. Somebody, if you know, tell me who it was or who it is. That is a little bit higher quality than this, and than the Koh-i-Noor. But anyway, so I have those, and I still have these, and I'll probably keep them forever. So this little palette here are samples that were sent to me from Iuli Watercolors with purchases off of Etsy. So these were just like, you know, like oopses or excess paint or something that she put into these little quarter pans, and she put little magnets on them, which is nice. Or maybe I put the magnets on. Can't remember. But yeah, I bought a substantial amount of watercolors from her Etsy shop. Spent gobs of money, and so I really appreciate her sending me some of these little samples. I'm just saying. Anyway, yeah, and here's the little swatches of them. I think some of them were probably like oopses, you know? Anyway, so then these will kind of lead us into the next like category of watercolors that I've got. Let me put these back in here. I haven't decided what I'm going to put. I haven't decided what I'm going to put in these. I'm thinking, I have not started collecting Daniel Smith watercolors as of yet, because they just have so many colors and they're so beautiful. I'm just really afraid to start collecting them, because I know me, I know myself, and if I start down that rabbit hole, I'm going to want all the colors, and I can't afford all the colors. So, yeah, but I don't know. These would be really cute to put like, just like a primary mixing set. Like I might get that little 6-color primary mixing set that they sell and just put them in here. I don't know. Anyway, so these palette boxes are, these are boxes from A Gallo that I've taken the paints out of them. So these are all granulating colors that I've mixed myself. And I put them all in these little, this is the swatches. I've put them all in these little seashells. These little seashells that you can buy on Amazon. I'm definitely an Amazon shopper. And yeah, I spent a good couple of weeks like really delving into what, you know, into making my own granulating watercolors. And I've kind of gotten past it now, but these are some of the colors that I mixed. And I used relatively, you know, high quality, artist quality watercolors to do that. And yeah, so I like to use these. I like to use these as much as I can. I have used them in coloring books, but I think that using granulating watercolors in coloring books is really kind of a waste, because there's really no texture to the paper, and granulation just doesn't really happen as well if you don't have any kind of texture to the paper. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying. Anyway, so these are my homemade granulating colors. Lots of purples, lots of teals, definitely. So, yeah. So that's those. And let me stick this back in the drawer, or in the... Oh, I forgot to show you this one. So this is just dot cards. These are Daniel Smith dot cards. I'll use this to kind of go into the metallic watercolors, I guess. We'll just do metallic watercolors next. So this is just dot cards of Daniel Smith duochrome colors, and they're iridescent colors. And I just cut the dot cards apart so that I could just use them, you know? I mean, in coloring books, like, just to try out the little, you know, the little sample colors. And rather than swatching them onto something else or whatever, like, I figured I might as well try to use them in my coloring books, you know? At one point I bought their, like, all the colors dot cards, and so those came with it. And then I actually bought separately their like all their earth colors and dot cards, and so I wanted to have these available to use also, like, in coloring books and whatnot. And because they're such small little quantities, but these are actually pretty healthy size dot cards, like sample dots, or whatever you call them. So those are kind of cool. And, you know, I paid for them. I might as well use them for something, right? Okay. Next, metallic. So this is a Yule set. I don't know how you say it, but I-U-I-L-E. I say Yule, but I could be wrong. But anyway, this is the Christmas set. And these are just little, I think they're quarter pans maybe, because they're round, but I do appreciate that she fills them pretty well. Like these colors are, like, they're domed up in there, you know? So you get a pretty good quantity of paint for the price. Two colors are missing out of here because I have them in another palette. But yeah, I use this set a lot. I love these. I love how they sparkle. They're glittery, but it's it's like the finest glitter you could ever get, you know? And they look great on white or black or on craft paper. I haven't swatched them on craft, but yeah, these are probably my favorite, like, glitter watercolors. So, and I've had these for a couple years now, and, like, they're still going strong. They re-wet, like, amazing, like, and they've never lifted, never crumbled off the page or anything like that. So really high quality, well made, metallic and sparkly, whatever you want to call them, watercolors. So highly recommend, although I don't know, I'm not extremely super happy with some of the customer service that I've gotten from them, but, you know, I don't know. It's whatever. And then this is just a dot card set that I bought from A Gallo of their Iridescent colors. And I've used these in coloring books. I think I paid like $20 for this set of dots. But, you know, there's a fair amount of paint on each sample. So they're actually a lot larger than I thought they were going to be. But I was just so excited because I love A Gallo watercolors. I was just so excited that they were making iridescent colors, you know, and they include the pigment information and all that stuff. So yeah, anyway, so these are really pretty and they look really nice together and they blend well. Like if you, I have a coloring page that I did with only these color. Oh, it was just a mandala. But you know, because I wanted to see how the colors blended together, you know, like the yellow and blue, like what kind of green do you get, and you know, blending the orange and the, you know, the magenta or whatever, and they're nice. So yeah, when I hit the lotto, I probably will break down and buy these in, if they come in tubes, that would be great. But if not, if nothing else, in half pans or something, or like in a set. I don't know. Anyway, so those are my little A Gallo. Okay, so then, let's see. So I have these kind of mixed up. And I have taken stuff out of some of these palettes. Oh, here's another Kuretake set. This is the opal set in here. These. So this is the swatch of them on black paper. I hardly ever use them because they have a lot of white to them. And if you ever use Gansai watercolors, you'll know that they have a tendency to get really thick. Like if you use too much water, they get really, really thick. And that white that's in them, it tends to like overwhelm, you know? I don't know. They're just kind of tricky to work with. So, especially on black, I guess, is what I'm saying. And craft. They're great on white, or over some other colors or whatever, but I prefer the Iuli iridescent colors over the Kuretake, but you can see the difference. They're not in here. I have them in another palette. Obviously they're not in here, right? Anyway, so that's that. And then so these are Finetech flip-flop colors, and these are considered premium colors. This is just well, this is their deep, some kind of black, Finetech black, that has a little bit of sparkle in it, but these are the flip-flop colors, and they actually do change in the light. Like, they change from, like, this one's turquoise and red, this one's gold pink. This one is not a flip-flop color, but it does have a color shift. And then there's green amethyst. Patina, again, not a flip-flop color, but it has a color shift. They're all Finetech colors. This is the Galaxy Black. And it just has a little bit of glitter in it. But yeah. So those are some Finetech colors that I love to use. They're really pretty. They're deep. They're really rich color. And fun to play with. So, and then I had my Iuli Color Shift in here also, but I put them into another palette that I'll show you guys in a minute. So then, let's see. These are all, okay, for the most part, these are all Finetech and Coliro paints, okay? So again, I've separated these into color families. So these are the pinks. So I've got space for more if I need them. But they're more like pinks and reds, I guess, because they don't make a lot of reds. So I just kind of put the reds in with the pinks. But yeah, and I mostly just have them swatched on black paper because that's where I use them the most. But I do use them on white paper also, especially in coloring books. But you can see some of the colors that I don't use as often. So in case anybody's wondering, like Finetech and Coliro, are like sister companies, although they're like sisters that aren't speaking to each other anymore. So Finetech was the original company, and Coliro somehow broke away from Finetech, and they kind of like took a lot of the colors with them when they left and renamed them. So like there are crossover colors. Like there's colors in the Coliro line that are the same as the Finetech line, but they have a different name. And then there's also colors in the Coliro line that are specific to Coliro, and there's also colors in the Finetech line that are specific to Finetech. So it can be really confusing. And if you are one of those full set syndrome people, like, and you feel like you need to have all the Coliro colors and all the Finetech colors, you're going to wind up with a lot of duplicates. I have really tried, because I have full set syndrome, I've really tried to collect all the colors, and any of the colors that are duplicated, I bought from Finetech and did not purchase from Coliro. Okay? I hope that makes sense. You can buy the Coliro open stock on jet pens, and you can buy Finetech open stock at Spokane Art Supply, and you can also buy them, I think you can get them on Blick, other websites, but I got all of mine from Spokane Art Supply, and I got almost all of my sets at Spokane Art Supply of Finetech. They don't carry Coliro, but any of the Coliro paint that I got, which are in the round pans, those all came from jet pens. So anyway, so anything that's in the square pan or the rectangular pan is Finetech. I put magnets on mine. I had a bunch of palettes, but I didn't like having them in those palettes, so I put them all in color families in these. So as you can see, there's specific reasons why they have their pans this way, and why the paint is poured the way it is. It's actually textured, and it just helps the brush to pick up paint rather than having it like super smooth. And it's also better to use a larger, like wider pan. It's a lot better on your brushes, especially if you use larger brushes. And same with the Finetech. So they also come with that texture on them. But anyway, so just a little bit of information, I guess. Yeah, so those are the pinks. And then I've got all my golds in here. Just a couple Coliro colors. This is an iridescent gold. Yeah, Finetech makes a lot of different golds. And it was very confusing when I was acquiring all of these, to make sure I wasn't duplicating. Even in the Finetech line, like, I guess they all have different names, but there's royal gold, pearl gold, autumn gold, pharaoh gold, crystal gold. I mean, the heart of gold color right here is a Coliro color, and it actually has a little heart of a different gold that's embedded into it. You can't see it because the other color has like covered it, but it's still in there. So it's kind of cool that they both kind of blend together when you use the pan. Yeah, so sometimes when you flood these pans with a lot of water, you create these like holes in the paint, and the water kind of floods under it, and so you wind up with this like hollow space under your paint. And it's kind of misleading because you think that the pan is still full, but it's really not. Like, there's just, the water has kind of eaten through the paint and then dissolved the paint underneath this top part. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's happened in a few of these. See, like this one is all hollow underneath there. So is this one. So anyway, but yeah, I love these little pans. They're great for keeping things organized, you know? Anyway, so these are all iridescent colors. There might be some duplicates in here. These are all Coliro. These are all Fine Tech. But yeah. I use these a lot more at Christmas time. So, but those are the iridescents. These are the Coliro Fantasy, like I call them fantasy mixes because they have these couple different sets. And you can see that the texture on the top of the paint is a little different. It's kind of this like triangular pattern. A lot of these, they're kind of like iridescent, but also a little bit of like color shifting that happens. They're really beautiful. Very, very pretty colors. I really like this Sphinx color. It's got this beautiful like teal and gold. Fenrir is really pretty. This one. And then, excuse me, this opal and pink diamond were from a different set. They didn't have this diamond shape on the texture and the top of those, but I don't know where they came from. But anyway, so these are all Coliro colors. And Fine Tech doesn't have these colors. So, you know, anyway. And then these are the silvers. So more Coliro silvers. And I included like blacks in silvers because they're kind of like silver, you know. Yeah. I use silver a lot. I think I like silver better than gold almost. This is the real silver. So this one actually has sterling silver in it. And this is made by Fine Tech. I think it's about $23 or something to replace it. I've gone through one. This is my second one. And I use it a lot. Like, it's like the best silver. I mean, it is just the silveriest silver you can get. You know, that, and I also like that sterling silver. It's really pretty. The white pearl is really fun to use. So is that champagne color, but it's really fun to mix with regular watercolors. If you want to give any of your like regular watercolors kind of a opalescent or sparkly sort of shimmer, you know, that white pearl is very transparent, so it's good to use for that. So, and then the champagne silver has more of a gold kind of tinge to it to mix with other, you know, regular watercolors. So, if you want to turn your regular watercolors into shimmery watercolors, get something like that and then just mix it with your regular watercolor. It's, you know, as you're painting, you know, it's great. So, do as I say, not as I do, because I don't do, I mean, you know. Anyway, so these are blues and purples. It's got some room in there. But yeah. Just gorgeous colors. I love them. I love them. I love all my sparkly watercolors, you guys. And these are oranges, which is going to include bronze and copper and, you know, rust, chocolate. I didn't really have many yellows, so there's a yellow in here. But yeah. And they're all different, you know, like they all they just have different tones, or like this Indian Summer is really close to that orange copper, but it's just a little bit more orange, you know? So like comparing a Calero color to a Fine Tech color. You think they're the same, but they're not exactly the same, you know? But yeah, it was really hard to figure out like what colors were those colors that were the same between the two companies, you know? But yeah. Anyway. So, oh, this Tangelo is a really pretty color. It's more of like a kind of a pinky orange. It's really pretty. Anyway, so those, and then these are my greens. It's my favorite. Lime green. And apple green. I really like the apple green. Again, I use these a lot at Christmas time. This lagoon color is really pretty. So, yeah. So this chroma green, any of the Fine Tech colors that say chroma, they're highly pigmented. Like, they're much more pigmented than their regular colors, and it is incredibly sparkly. Like, the swatch probably doesn't really do it justice. Yeah, it's great. It's a great sparkly green. So, anywho, so those are all my like Fine Tech and Calero paints, and some Ioli. And then, oh, so, well, I'll show you that in a second. So then this is actually the first metallic, like, watercolor set that I ever bought. This is the Paul Rubens set of 48 colors. And, I don't know. Like, when I first got it, I loved it. Like, I just thought, oh my god, this is amazing. These are gorgeous. You know, and they are, they're beautiful. Some of the colors are really hard to re-wet, and that's kind of annoying, like, especially, like, I don't know, something about these colors up here are kind of hard to re-wet. And I'm not really attracted to, like, a lot of this row down here. I don't know. I mean, I've used them, but I don't know. This green, obviously, I've used a lot. And this green. I really like them on white paper. Like, I think that they're really nice on white paper. They're nice and opaque, which I think is great. For metallic watercolor, like if you're, especially like if you're doing lettering or things like that, like I think they're great for that. I don't like the little tiny pans that much. I don't know. You do get some nice reds in the Paul Rubens set. Like, these reds are pretty nice. You know, it's a good variety of reds. And golds. I don't really love them on black paper. I just, yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but like, I like them better on white paper for some reason. This color right here, I don't know what, I don't think it even says on the pan, but this color right here is really cool. It's kind of like a gold champagne, sort of like that one that I just showed you guys. This one is kind of like that. It's like that gold silver color, like a champagne gold. It's really pretty. See it? Anyway, I probably would not buy this set again, but you know, I have it and I'm gonna keep it. So there, yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much for now. That's all my metallic sparkly stuff. And then I've got, this is a studio palette, so it's like huge. And this is all my M. Graham watercolors. And I just honestly don't use this that much because it's so big. Like, I actually kind of regret putting all these colors in here because now they're in there and I don't use this palette that often. But it won't go bad. Like, it's not like it's gonna go bad, you know? So, you know, if my situation changes in life, then maybe, I don't know, maybe I get a bigger desk, or maybe I'll use this outside or something, like on the patio, or I don't know. I do love having the large wells. It's nice. It's much easier on your brushes, etc. But I did put together, oh, these are my M. Graham mixes. Hold on. Just a minute. So I did put together a smaller palette of my M. Graham watercolors. So yeah, and I don't know if you can see, but like they're shiny. They're definitely sticky. So this I use a lot more often because like it takes up a quarter the size. But I put them in a large palette. And for the most part, I used full pans. Some of these, you know, earthy colors, I did, you know, quarter pan or half pans. But yeah, I like to use larger pans because I like to use larger brushes. I just think it's better on your brushes, you know. Even if you don't fill the pan all the way, like, you know, just fill it halfway if you don't want to fill it, you know. It's going to be better on your brushes. Just saying. And usually I paint with it like this instead of like this. So I'm going into the pan this way, you know. Anyway, just my thought. And again, I took off the, you know, the fold out palette. So those are my M. Graham. And those were not a set that I bought. Like, I bought all these colors open stock at Spokane Art Supply. They have really good prices on M. Graham, and they have really good prices on Daniel Smith too. And they ship pretty much anywhere. So I'll leave a link to Spokane Art Supply in the description in case you want to check them out. Like, it's a family-owned art supply store that they're just super great people. They've been in Spokane for, I don't know, 50, 60 years, maybe longer. And I've been going to that store for decades, and I love them. So yeah. Anyway, so if I'm gonna spend money on art supplies, I like to spend money there, you know. And it's really nice to be able to go in and see them. There's not like a million people in there. I don't have a Blick where I live, so and they're the only art supply store in Spokane, you know, that's not Hobby Lobby or Michael's, you know. I don't consider those art supply stores. But anyway, let me get this out of the way. Because I also made a, let me put this back in its home. I did some blends, some mixes with my M. Graham colors because I like to play around, and I don't know, like I just wanted to see what I could do, you know, and mixed some colors that I didn't really have in my palette, just some convenience colors, you know, and I just mixed from the tube. Well, I played around with, you know, mixing from my palette, and I was like, oh, I like that. And so then I would take the tubes and mix it in the little pans. So anyway, so it was really fun to put this together. I like it. I don't remember what the mixes are. Like, I didn't write it down. I just mixed it and put it in my palette, you know. So I won't be able to recreate them, but these will last me forever. And I use this a lot, actually. So, yeah. So those are my M. Graham. And then I've got This is my Rosa Gallery, and if you have any Rosa Gallery watercolors, you know that they usually come, well, not always, but like to save money, you can buy Rosa Gallery sets in like a cardboard palette so that, you know, it just cuts down on the cost a little bit. And then you can take the little pans. Well, they're actually like full pans, so that's nice. But really nice paint. I'm going to say, like, I really, really like the Rosa Gallery a lot. I think they're beautiful. I used this set a lot when I was doing, I was painting Christmas cards, but I was doing a lot of, like, night skies and, like, Aurora Borealis paintings, like little miniatures and stuff. And they're just beautiful. I especially like their sepia. I've used it like a lot of the sepia, and this violet. No, this is the sepia. The indigo. Sorry, the sepia and the indigo are beautiful. This bright blue is a really nice color. So is the emerald. But yeah, anyway. So this green, oh, it's PBK 7. Never mind. I thought it was PBK. I thought, well, it was PBK 11, but no, it's 7. So anyway, it's a nice set. Rosa Gallery, I'm happy to have them. And then these are my Holbein watercolors that this was actually 2 24 sets that I bought from Amazon Japan. And so between the 2 sets, I did get quite a few duplicates. I can't remember what the name of this artist is that they collaborated with. But she's a pretty famous illustrator in Japan. And so the whole set, she did an illustration for the tube, right? If somebody knows who this is, I have to go find the box or look at my order or something to remember who it was. But it's such a cute little set. And she collaborated with Holbein, and I think you can get, I just got the 24 set because it was on promotion. But I think she did a 24, a 48, and I think 108 colors that you can buy in 5mm tubes. And it was a pretty good price, like a pretty reasonable price. But I wanted some other colors because they were kind of, what's the word? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say, but the colors were more like convenience colors, you know? Anyway, I wanted more colors that were more just like for mixing, okay? So I got another set that I think was their botanical set, again, from Amazon Japan. And so, yeah, you can see that, like, the labels are just with their regular, you know, numbering system, right? Anyway, so that's a pretty good way to get some Holbein watercolors, especially, like, if you just want, like, the 5mm tubes. They're great prices. Amazon Japan. And if you have a Prime account, you can shop from Amazon Japan. And, you know, even with the shipping, you know, it winds up being a pretty good deal, right? I mean, you guys know that. Anyway, I won't get into it. But yeah, so I don't know how many colors are in here. But these are my Holbein watercolors. And they're great. I mean, they re-wet fantastically, easily, whatever. That's enough descriptives in there. But yeah, they're, you know, they're beautiful. They are I think Holbein watercolors are definitely, I think they straddle the line between Eastern and Western watercolors really well, you know? Like, I think that their color selection, their pigments, light fastness, all that stuff is really appealing to Western artists. Their convenience colors, I think, are very much loved by an Eastern artist group, right? So I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they straddle that line really well, and they have such a huge variety of colors in their line of watercolor that I just think it's been really smart on their part to do that and to kind of cater to both worlds, you know, if you know what I'm saying. Because there is a distinct difference between an Eastern style watercolor palette and a more Western style watercolor palette. But anyway, so that's the Holbein. And then this is a Paul Rubens set that I bought a long time ago in tubes. And I just put them into pans, or into little half pans. I feel about these, I feel pretty much the same way as I feel about the Melang, or I think they're a little bit of a step above the Supervision, though, for various reasons. Probably the Eastern versus Western, like, palette, kind of, and pigment quality. I think they're a step above the Supervision, to be honest. I don't use them as much as I probably should, but I do like this little palette. I love this little palette for using in coloring books, especially like in Johanna Basford books, where I want to have like a lot of different colors, access to lots of different vibrant, pretty colors, you know. I think that this is a nice set. And I do like the selection of greens in here, because I do like to paint trees and flowers and plants and, you know, that kind of stuff. So I like to have lots of greens, and it's nice to not have to mix them if you're working in a coloring book, you know. And this is actually a really nice color right here. I don't remember what it's called, but it's nice to use as a basis for skin tones, and then to kind of alter it with, you know, different, you know, like ochres and siennas and stuff like that. This color right here, I don't remember what it is though, but yeah, again, and that's kind of more of an Eastern watercolor sort of thing, is that, you know, that those skin tones are really important in those kinds of sets. So, and so this is the Supervision color, the Supervision set that I showed you guys a couple weeks ago. Actually, it wasn't a couple, it was like last week. But yeah, so you already know my feelings about that if you watched that video. If you haven't, go check it out. Yeah, just different pigments than are typically used in a lot of more Western style watercolors. Light fastness is very questionable. There could even be some dyes used or whatever. I just think sometimes it's a mystery, you know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like important enough to matter really, but I think that you know what I mean. I mean, obviously I'm important to somebody, but you know, like I'm not important enough. I don't have as much influence as some people do. So I don't think I'll get in too much trouble, but I just think that sometimes they're not as forthcoming as they could be about how they're paints are made. And I think that they need to maybe be more upfront about it. I don't know. I could be just really on the wrong page about that. I don't know. I'm not a paint manufacturer, so who knows. Okay. So next thing, this palette is the Mission Gold Class Magello. I don't know, what is the brand? Magello or is it Mission? I think it's Magello. But this was such a good deal. And I bought these because it was such a good deal. They're 15 mil tubes. A lot of single pigment colors, actually. Lots of, and I bought this because this was when I was really interested in mixing my own granulating colors, right? And I just liked the color range and the light fastness ratings. Just the quality of the paint is really nice. Now this set is their Eastern set. It's the A type. So see, even they split it out, right? Like A type, Asia, B type, US, C type, EU. So they're marketing these to different, you know, the color palette and stuff that they include in their sets are marketed to different markets, you know? So anyway, so this is the A type set. So this is the Asian set, okay? Because see, you can see that, like, it doesn't have black or white in it. But the US set has Chinese white and ivory black, right? So there's just, I don't know, there's just subtle differences in the color choices that they make for those sets. So in case you didn't know that Magello does that, and that there are 3 different sets. Anyway, so this palette is all of the Mission with cat hair added in. That's what happens when you leave your palette open so it can dry and you have a bunch of cats. Anyway, this was probably left open for way too long, probably a couple days. And they're kind of cool because they're sticky. Like, I don't know if they use honey or what, but they have that kind of tackiness. And so I don't know if they would shift when you travel, like if you put these into a travel set, if they like migrate, kind of like the M. Graham does or Sennelier does. But yeah, they do stay a little bit tacky. So that's kind of interesting. But I mean, they don't market that they're honey based or anything. So, but yeah, so this is kind of what the palette looks like. This is my swatch card. Some of these colors are really, really beautiful. I really like this light red. It's really pretty. For some reason, like, I'm just drawn to that color. Yeah, I like this green too. But again, really limited in the greens. Like, really, there's only like 4 greens in this set. I've added a few other colors down in here. I added an M. Graham Burnt Umber, an M. Graham Ultramarine, Cerulean Blue, a Holbein Cerulean Blue. There's just a little bit. And then my M. Graham Mineral Violet and the Holbein Cobalt Violet, because those are granulating colors. And then I also added in here some Turner's Mars Black, because that's a really good granulating black. And then the Turner's Charcoal Blue Shade and Red Shade. I don't remember what these are. These are some kind of mixes that I did. I don't know. But anyway, and this palette is actually a makeup palette that you can get on Amazon. Oh, and these are some more of those little samples I got from Yuli. So see, I always like to add some metallics into my palettes. But it comes with a metallic sheet or a magnetic sheet in the bottom, and then you can just get these little steel makeup trays or pans, and they just stick on there. If you buy those little pans, though, I did a video talking about this before, like earlier, and not earlier in the day, but like months ago. And I was saying that you could get these pans in like smaller sizes, but be careful, because if they're aluminum pans, they're not magnetic, and you have to put a magnetic like sheet on the bottom. But these are steel and they're magnetic, so they have to be steel. They can't be aluminum. Aluminum is not magnetic, in case you didn't know, but it's not. Okay, so that's my Magello Mission Gold watercolors. And then these are, I've shown these to you guys before too. So these are my like homemade like graphite tinted watercolors that I've made myself, my own self, that have come out of their little pans. So anyway, yeah, so this is the swatch that goes with these. And sometimes I just like am desperate to do something like a little project, and I might not have exactly what I need, and so I just look around my house until I find something that'll work. And that's what happened with this, where I just wound up using these are like little bead boxes that I cut apart. Like I cut the lid off of the bottom and just turned it upside down and used them but they're great especially if you're making your own like granulating watercolors and things like that. You know, if you use like a little plastic box like this, it's great because you can add a lot of water into it, and you can use a bigger brush. And yeah, I don't know, like I think that those little watercolor palettes with the little tiny pans and stuff, like, it's really hard sometimes to get some colors to re-wet too. And it's especially hard on your brushes when you're trying to re-wet colors that are stubborn. You know, you wind up like really like ruining the end of your brush. Anyway, these are not granulating. These are just my sort of like graphitint-esque colors that I've made. So anyway, I just took a sheet of magnet and put it in the bottom of this little tray, and then these little guys just stick in there and they stay. See, they stay. So anyway, I always save these little plastic boxes from different products. Like I don't know what, see, those ones came loose in there, but that's okay. I don't know what came in this, but something came in this box, and so I just save them. Anyway, okay, and then I'm almost done, you guys. So this is, this is my commercially made granulating watercolors. And so there's a bunch of Schminke super granulating colors in here. Yeah. And then there's also a bunch of, I'm just kind of separating them out here. There's also a bunch of Supervision granulating watercolors. let me just separate them out real quick. Some of the Schmincke colors are, or that's not what I was trying to say. I was trying to say some of the Supervision colors have like a cool color name, and then some of them are just like the color. I don't know. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Okay, so these are all super granulating colors, and these are all the Supervision colors. Okay, I don't think I missed any. Yeah. So I squeezed the whole tube into this little container. So I don't have any like tubes of, extra. And I did this for a few different reasons. So one of the biggest reasons is that the Schmincke granulating colors, the super granulating colors, they have a real tendency to separate in the tube. So when you go to like squeeze out paint, you get a whole bunch of binder often. And so I didn't like that. Like, that's just messy, and I didn't like it. And it does that for a reason, like, because often the pigments that they use in the super granulating colors are heavier. Some of the pigments are heavier than the others, and they're made to like separate, right, from some of the other pigments. So it makes sense that they separate in the tube, and I don't really think there's anything they can do about that. But one thing you can do about it is to squeeze the whole tube into a pan, into a tray or something. And these little plastic boxes with lids work perfect for that. Also, I like to use larger brushes. I like to be able to add a lot of water. My colors don't mix with each other. I can keep my colors separate. And I can pull out the colors that I want to use. Like, I don't have to have all the colors out. When I want to use a super granulating color, I can just pull out, my Tundra Orange, my Shire Olive, and my Galaxy Brown. Like, and use those, I don't have to have all the colors open and active and on my desk. So that's the other reason. And it's just better on my brushes, and I just leave them open. I just leave this open until it dries, and then put them back in their little box, So yeah, so some of them I had purchased the 5 mil. See, I had them in small pans originally, and then I realized that I was getting that separation with the binder, so I dug out what was in the pans, put them in here, and then I squeezed the rest of it into the pan, right? And so, see, I have these little pieces, but these will just reincorporate, and, anyway, I just think it was brilliant. That's all I can say. And it just works really well for me. Anyway, so I had bought some sets, like I think I bought the Volcano set. No, a lot of the Volcano colors came with the 15 mil, like, primary set, I think. Because any of the ones where there's, like, a lot of paint in there, that was, like, a set that I bought that were all 15 mil tubes. And I think it was, like, a set of 12 colors. And it came with a lot of the Volcano colors. But there was some Galaxy colors in there also. And then I bought the Shire colors. And I don't remember. I think I bought like 3 sets. That set that came with the 15 mil tubes, that was like 12 colors. And then I think I bought 2 other sets of 5 colors that were 5 mil tubes. Okay, does it make sense? So anyway, yeah. So those are the Schmincke Super Granulating. The Tundra Blue is probably one of my favorite colors. There's other colors that I would like to get of the Super Granulating ones, but I don't really need any more at this point. Okay, and so then these are the Supervision. Okay. I don't know why. It looks like I'm missing something here, but I don't know. Anyway, so what I was saying is that, so like this one is just called Blue Orange, right? But this one is called Westlake. So it's like, how come this one gets a fancy name and then this one is just Blue Orange? I don't know. That's what I was saying before. But if you're looking for a yellow that granulates, the Supervision Gold Brown is really a nice granulating paint. And I did write the pigment information on my little, I did a swatch on rough watercolor paper. No, cold press watercolor paper on each of the little, lids, and just put it on there with some double stick tape. But it is nice. So the pigment information is PY3 and Jasper. So it's actually an earth mineral pigment that they've used. And that's what that darker brown color is. So it's pretty cool. And they do give you the pigment information on their granulating colors, which is really nice. In older YouTube videos that I've seen about the Supervision granulating colors, I think they were a little bit more like, I don't know, not as forthcoming about their pigment information. And I think that they used different formulation back then because like there were people that experienced like complete pigment vanishing while these were in the tube still. And so one thing that people were recommending in the older videos of the Supervision granulating colors was putting them into a pan like this so that they would dry down. And so that's another reason that I did this, even though I think that the pigment information now is much more reliable. And I don't think that they use dyes in their granulating paints. I don't know. Maybe they do, but I don't think so. I have been wrong before. That one time I was that time wrong. Okay. Then last thing is, well, I mean, this doesn't exactly count, but like these are just tubes of watercolors. These are some A Gallo watercolor, like tubed watercolors that I bought last year sometime. Some were refill colors, some were new colors, new to me colors. And then these are some Turner watercolors that I bought when I was on my making my own granulating watercolor kick. So I bought 3 tubes of their Mars Black because it's a great granulating color. I went through all of the I used all of the ultramarine blue that I had bought from them, but I love I like indigo, indanthrene blue, and I also like alizarin crimson. So I bought those colors, even though they're not really granulating colors. That isn't why I bought those. I bought them because they were cheap and I like the color. But also I like these charcoal colors. too. So those are great for mixing with other paints. If you like a kind of like a charcoal or graphite type of paint. Anyway, so this this is actually my Lyra water activated crayon, water soluble crayon tin. And this is these are my most loved watercolors. And I just put them all in the same tray because I thought, why not, you know? So yeah, I made this swatch sheet for it. It's sort of like a map, you know, because there's so much in here. I needed a map. Yeah, so these are my A Gallo watercolors. Okay, so from this line up are all A Gallo. Okay, so here, even that gold, that's an A Gallo color. So those are all A Gallo colors. I had purchased 3 24 color sets from them a few years ago. And then I bought those tubes. And I had actually purchased a couple of like extra half pans for some reason that weren't in any of those sets that I had bought originally. So had bought, I don't think that's proper, but anyway. Yeah, so this Pietra Rosa color is a color that I recently bought in the tube. Anyway, I won't go into it. If you guys want to see a swatching of all my A Gallo colors, all my A Gallo watercolors, I can do that for you. There are lots of videos on YouTube, people swatching all kinds of brands of colors, but if you want to see it live, or you know, you want to see somebody else do it, I'll do it for you. Just let me know. Okay, so those are all A Gallo, and then everything else, oh, except for these 2 colors. These are also A Gallo, but everything from that line down are Yuli watercolors. So primarily it's the 60 color set. Okay, that's like pretty much what all of these are. I don't have the swatch sheet in here anymore. But it came in this box. But yeah, so all those are from the 60 color set. And then these over here, like there's 18 of them. Okay, so like these, and these are the 18 color shift colors of hers. They were in this tray. They were up here before. And then these are the fairy colors that were in that iridescent tin that I showed you. And then these 2 came out of that Christmas set. This is a silver and like a light gold color. So you can see it. I put it on black. But yeah. So those are the color shift. This is the 60 color set. And if you want me to swatch that 60 color set of, you know, all these, I can. I can swatch this whole thing if you want me to. But it might be a really long video. But yeah. I do have some super favorite colors in all of these, but for some reason this Arancione color, there's a cat hair. This orange is so pretty. It's like the most perfect orange ever created, I think. This one right here. And the Hokkaido is pretty too, but I like the Arancione the best. And the Indian yellow is gorgeous. So A Gallo are also made with honey, but they dry down. They don't stay tacky. So they're not, they're honey and gum arabic, not only honey as a binder. So, like, I don't know, like, I think M. Graham might also use gum arabic, but they definitely use more honey than A. Gallo does. Like A. Gallo even says on their tubes, honey-based. Yeah. See, it even says honey watercolors. But they dry. Like, they're not tacky at all. And they don't, like, shift around when you put them in a travel palette. But, like, the M. Graham, it doesn't even say on their label on the tube that they're made with honey. Yeah, because see, it says vehicle gum arabic. I don't know. Maybe they don't use honey. I don't know. I thought they did. I'm pretty sure they do. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, and I don't remember. But also, they add rosemary, like oil, to their paint. And it just smells so good. And they don't do it so that, I mean, they add the rosemary. It's essential oil that they use, I think. I'm pretty sure that they use. They don't add it just because it smells good. It does smell good, but they add it as a, like, an anti, like, bacterial, I think. So that, because, I don't know, honey is also like an antibacterial, but, and it's also like has antibiotic properties, but I think they add that as a preservative, the rosemary essential oil. So it's really cool, like, though, when you spray like your whole palette and get it wet, you smell that rosemary oil and it just smells so good. Anyway, and that's how you know that it's A. Gallo. But anyway, so that is pretty much all my watercolors, you guys. And yeah, I think that's enough. I don't think I missed anything. If anything else comes up, I'll show you in a different video. But I think that's enough, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna take a quick little, do a quick thumbnail. But yeah. So if you have any questions, or if you would like, you know, links to anything, I'm going to leave a link to Spokane Art Supply in the description, just so you guys can check them out, because I really think you'll be happy with their pricing and, you know, their variety, you know, what they've got going. But yeah, if there's anything that you specifically would like to have a link to, leave it in the comments, and I will try to get that done for you. Okay? And yeah, any other questions or comments are greatly appreciated and considered. Okay. Next, I think I'm gonna do all of my water activated media, like, you know, like crayons, pencils, that kind of thing. So yeah, that one should be a little bit shorter, but just as fun. Okay, I love you guys. Thanks for watching, and stay out of trouble. Okay, bye for now.